Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. Hopefully, everybody's had a great trading morning, afternoon, whatever sessions you guys like to trade. And everybody is viewing in from different areas in the world. So, hello. Yeah, let's go. Let's get this. All right, today we have a guest, Manny. He's been on the show, I think, in the morning before. So we'll dig into a little bit about what he's doing. Maybe you can share some setups and talk about different things that he's found or that work for him. We love sharing good information for people so they can learn. This is about education, right? As always, we'll do the whole giveaway thing. All right. Let's start diving in. FTT, hi, hello. Yeah, to join the giveaway, we're gonna do, I think 50 likes, and we'll do 2 accounts that way. And then if we can get to 100 likes, we'll do 2 more accounts. So that's up to everybody's participation. Wow. That's a hard one today. All right, cool. Thanks for joining us, guys. As always, just a reminder, trading is super hard. It's not easy. I think a lot of people put it out there that it's a really easy endeavor and you're going to learn it really fast and it's not risky. Trading is very risky. That's why it's really important to have a plan, control risk, and just limit the cuts while you're learning. It is a long-term endeavor. It's an investment in yourself, an investment in your future. So treat it that way. Put in the work and you'll get good results. All right, Manny, it's time for you. Let's dig in a little bit. How'd you come to find the futures desk? Where did you start in trading? Let's hear about it.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on. It is great to meet you. I found the futures desk through Rebecca. Her and I had the same like mentor or like coach.
Okay,
and so I
cool.
met her in like kind of like the exclusive group that we were in. And then yeah, like I learned about your firm through there. She kind of gave you guys a lot of praises on Twitter before streaming for you guys, and your firm just kind of caught my interest just because it is like very different compared to like other firms out there. Like I tell a lot of my other trading buddies all the time, and a lot of my other trading buddies like also kind of like hold you guys to such a high regard because again, like just the rules you guys have. Like for example, you guys have with my 3K drawdown account, I can't trade more than 20 micros, no more than 2 minis. Let's say I have my daily basic goal, which is essentially, like the consistency rule that other firms have. I like your guys's because, if I go over that, I don't get penalized for it. Just kind of like doesn't count. And I feel like that really helps out the traders. And it kind of like shows that, you guys aren't really in it to get one on the traders, which I really like. But I got into trading about 2 years ago. And funny enough, before trading, I was an esports coach I coached a game called Valorant, and I had a pretty big following on YouTube. And one of my students actually, he told me he worked in finance, and then as I coached him more and more, he kind of like revealed to me that he was like a day trader, and I was like, oh, really? Like, can you teach me? And then
That sounds risky, but yeah, teach me.
yeah, but because I was always pretty big in like investing and like kind of like just like long-term portfolio management. And I've heard about day trading before, and I didn't really know too much about it. And then he just kind of like showed me the ropes. I don't know if he still does it. Kind of like lost contact with him. It's been like 2 years, but I hope he's doing well. But yeah, he was a stocks guy, and he just had me go on a YouTube university rabbit hole. And there, I initially started off with stocks for like the first week, and then I was like, okay, like this seems like a lot, And then I found, I forgot who exactly it was, but I found a YouTuber who they were talking about why it's a good idea for beginners to kind of like start with futures, which is a big contradiction of what a lot of other traders and other asset classes they'll tell you. But I liked futures because it was simple. I mean, the only thing you really have to worry about is like the expirations, and you really don't even have to worry about that really. So it's pretty simple, right? Compared to stocks where you have to like have a screener, see the a bunch of all these other things before even choosing your stocks you're going to focus on that day. Futures is just simple. You just choose a ticker that you like. Mine is ES, and then you figure out a strategy that you want to trade with it, and then you just kind of go from there. And then I went down that little rabbit hole. At first I started with like this very complex strategy of like two-legged pullbacks, trend line breaks, and all this, and it was just a lot. And it wasn't for me. And then I later on found this guy named Austin Silver, and I loved his simplicity because at that around that time I started reading Brian Shannon's book about like how to trade with the VWAP and everything. And yeah, I mean, I tried looking at some videos of like Austin Shannon to see if he taught on YouTube, and then I ran into Austin and started watching him trade live for a couple of months. Once I kind of like saw that he was legit, because I mean he shows he's trading live. I decided to enroll in his mentorship program, and from there, it's been kind of like a huge game changer. I feel like the last 2 months mainly has been a very pivotal moment. And just because I'm winning a lot more trades, psychological wise, I feel like I'm in the zone. And if I take a loss, I mean, it doesn't impact me the same way as it used to. Because I mean, 2024, like having a 50% win rate, and I'm a 1-to-1 trader. Like I go for a 1R. So like, 50%, like you're kind of like break even, right? But you're not really in profitable yet. And things have just been clicking recently to where now it's like the last 30 days, I mean, my win rate on some accounts are like 80%, or even like the lowest one is like 66% right now. And it's just it's kind of surreal. It's almost like I have that imposter syndrome, like, dang, like am I actually kind of like getting better, or is it like am I just getting lucky? But the last 2 months have been really great, and I have some accounts right now with a couple of firms that are looking pretty nice. So maybe I could take a payout pretty soon if I keep up the good momentum. But yeah, it's been a ride.
That's awesome, man. Congrats on your journey. It's funny because a lot of people, like, they start in the stocks and they're like, oh man, the issue with stocks for me, what I found was like, because of dark pools, you don't know where all the liquidity is. There could be firms behind the scenes trading shares, or like offerings coming in and they're like diluting stuff. And then let's say you want to short something that's maybe not that popular, and then you have to locate the shares to short it, and then you have to pay fees to short it. And it's like futures, it's centralized, it's controlled, it's regulated. Same with Forex. Like I thought about Forex at one point early in my career. It's like, wait, the guys that you trade through, they're the ones that run it, and they can manipulate the price. And like, I was like, nah, I'm not good with that. So I landed on futures, and I just haven't looked anywhere else because I don't think there's anything else out there that's better.
Right.
As far as level playing fields go, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So are you more of like a VWAP trader, or what's kind of like a quick overview of your strategy? How do you look at the market? You'll pop
Yes,
up
sir.
some
Yeah.
charts
So
or something. Cool.
so with my trading strategy, I'm basically like my entry models are all off of VWAP. And I basically use just price action and VWAP as my levels. So I'll use the higher time frame to kind of like understand what the bigger trend has kind of been doing. So I can just drag in here my higher time frame, because I have a couple of monitors. But basically, here I have a couple of indices, because I just like to see what YM and kind of NQ are doing, but I'm mainly only looking at ES. And what I have here is the white VWAP that you guys see here is the start of month VWAP anchored at the beginning of the month. This kind of just tells me, okay, this month, who has been dominating the market, buyers or sellers. A lot of times we see buyers step in around here. As a VWAP trader, I mean, a key thing to note is that like shouldn't really use VWAP as like a distinct level, because price is never gonna ever respect the level like perfectly 100% of the time. It's more, I play it more of a zone. It's like, okay, are buyers gonna step in here, or are sellers just gonna rip through this level, and are we gonna move lower? And obviously that took me a long time to learn, because I used to treat it like it was a distinct level. But I have the white VWAP, which is anchored to the start of the month. Then I have this hot pink VWAP here that's anchored to the start of every week. And that kind of just tells me on a weekly, for the weekly, like what have we been doing. Some weeks will be making higher lows almost perfectly off of this VWAP, and some weeks are going to look more like this, to where it's a bit more range bound. And whenever we're like this, then I'll start marking off, okay, like where are some areas that buyers are stepping in. So we have this kind of like pivot low right here. We also have another pivot low to where buyers step in. So that's where I'm going to mark off like this zone as support. because I know, okay, whenever price comes down here, I can definitely look for some longs, or I could possibly expect for buyers to kind of step in here. And then a few of the other view apps I have is just an all-time high anchored view apps where I anchor to the highest price, which I have to now move this because we just made a new all-time high. And then I also have the previous day's New York view app, which is here in the yellow. And then I have the start of the future session view app, and then I also use the New York view app if we kind of go down to the lower time frame. But that's just like, I have a lot of view apps for like the bigger time frame. But if we go down to a lower time frame, I simplify it a lot more. On the 15-minute chart, I do have those view apps. Again, it's just like telling me like what's like the most relevant trend. We made a really nice higher low right here, respecting the 63.49 level. And again, if we look at where view ups line up with it, it kind of looks pretty nice because we have these view ups down here as support. We held this bullish structure, and so that's why it makes sense for me that we just made a new all-time high. But then going down where I actually execute my trades is on the 2-minute chart. And what I like to do here is I only have 3 view ups on my chart. I have the previous day's New York view up, which is the view up that I anchored to the previous day's New York Open, the current day's New York Open view up, and then again the start of the futures session view up here that's the white dotted line. And then I just basically kind of like just try to use these view ups. I try to, if I'm going to take a trade, I want to be on the side of these view apps, but I also don't want to forget what the higher time frame has been telling us. Like today, yeah, we had a bearish open, but if we zoom out and look at the higher time frame, I mean, that's just a pullback in the larger uptrend that we've been having on ES. So with VWAP, I'm trying to be pretty selective as to like where I take these setups. I want to be in alignment with like the higher time frame, but also like the lower time frame. I want to make sure these two things are aligned. A lot of people probably got trapped trying to take shorts around here, this level right here, or even like here, like seeing this as rejections of the start of session or New York VWAP. But I was looking at something different on the higher time frame because I said, okay, well, we could just be making a higher low and buyers can quite literally step in any moment here, which is why I did not kind of take a short, basically taking a rejection off of these VWAPs.
Okay. Can you go back to kind of the first screen with the higher time frames on it, and then we'll take a look at that? Okay. So you're not necessarily, and this is what you learn through, I guess back testing or forward testing. You're not actually looking to trade off those levels. You're more of getting context for what the market might do, right? So if you're above the monthly VWAP, you're thinking, okay, well, we're above monthly VWAP, meaning on the month, we're above where everybody agreed price should be, the fair midline, right? Which means we have strong participation, price moving up, price discovery in the upside. So that's a really good key takeaway without really leaning on the level. Be like, oh, I want the price to get back to monthly, and then I'm gonna get long or something like that, right? That's not how you're using the VWAP, at least on the monthly. It's more of like, it gives you an idea of, well, are we trending up? Are we down? Are we above? Or are we below value, right? Where are we at? That's a great way to look at the market. And then as far as your weekly, is your weekly including both pre-market and market, or is it only including each like cash session? Like, how do you do the weekly? Is it all of the data?
Yeah, so it's all of the data. It's pre-market, London session, Asia session, New York session, just getting price action as a whole throughout the entire week, just to kind of like tell me, okay, are we range bound? Are we strongly bullish, or are we strongly bearish? Because there were some times in June to where, like I said, you can look back and I mean, we're forming higher lows almost perfectly off of the weekly VWAP, and in those markets, it's like, okay, dang, like I can really be a buyer pretty strongly without fearing too much, as long as I'm obviously not buying when we just made a higher high, right? I can be a pretty strong buyer. As for these types of market conditions, I mean, we've been kind of disrespecting the weekly VWAP, so I'm going to be a bit more selective in terms of like my trade location, and I'm just going to be a bit more cautious.
Got it. Okay. So with weekly, how would you utilize it? Sometimes you will take trades off the weekly, or is it more of like still gauging where we at in the market? What's the market doing? And you're building a hypothetical situation. If above weekly VWAP, I'm looking to get long. If below, I'm looking to get short. Or is it that like kind of I guess, clear? Or is it more of like subjective where you're like, okay, so we're above on the monthly, we're above on the weekly. I should probably be thinking get long on a pullback or something like that. Or is it some other style that you're utilizing?
Definitely. So I would say I use it's kind of a mixture of both. I don't use it solely as if you're like, if we're down at the weekly VWAP, I'm not always going to just take a trade just because we're at the weekly VWAP. Like if we pull back to the weekly VWAP, I'm not just going to take a long just because we're there. I kind of need some things to add up to it. I mainly use it for like context purposes. But for example, like last night, I can pull up a trade that I took overnight. That is a perfect example of how I use the weekly VWAP right here. I'm just gonna drag this down on the screen. I mean, yesterday we made a nice higher low. And in this particular situation, again, I'm playing VWAP as a zone. So we were trading below the weekly VWAP, right? And typically if we're below it, I kind of want to look for shorts. If we're above it, I kind of want to look for longs. But again, I need to see if I want to trade with what the higher time frame has been doing, which was making higher highs and higher lows, because we're trading all-time highs. I mean, bulls are very strong. I need to see price first break this area, break this level, which we did. We broke out, and then I don't need to catch the first breakout, because if I would have tried doing that, I could have got faked out here, right? I need to see price fully break out, have some price action above it, and then come back down as close to this level as possible, just to show me, okay, buyers are stepping in here. But I'm mainly looking at this as like, okay, nice. We broke what was resistance and it is now support. So now I'm looking at, I expect buyers to kind of step in here. And the cool thing is like, I look at these VWAPs as, okay, they support my trade because we were to break them. And now I can just use them as like levels of support, to where if price falls back below, well, I no longer kind of want to be in my longs. I kind of either want to, just relax a little bit and kind of regather, reanalyze the market. And that's kind of like what I did here. I used it as a level of support, waited for us to actually break out above the weekly VWAP, because I knew that, hey, we've been trading below it. If I want to be long to be in alignment with what the higher time frame has been doing, making higher highs and higher lows, I need that breakout and then retest. And after we get that retest, I can kind of then scale down to lower time frames and kind of like look for like my specific entry, which is this anchoring a VWAP at the highest price of the session. And then once we break out of that VWAP, that's my entry model. And that's also what Brian Shannon talks about in almost every single one of his podcasts, of that, like that low of day and high of day anchored VWAP breakout trades.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't seen this strategy before, but makes sense. Absolutely. It sounds like you get some context from higher time frames. Your actual entry trigger is the anchor point, which is great. This is the thing that traders, get so caught up on. It's like, you need to make it simple enough that you can actually articulate it and explain it to people. Because if you can't explain it to your friend or whoever, you're never going to be able to trade it consistently. And if
Right.
You're not consistent with how you trade things, then you're not going to have consistent P&L. And that doesn't, add into the fact that you also have emotional issues and psychological issues, and like it just compounds and makes everything really hard as a trader. And trading's hard enough. Cool, man. That's awesome. Really appreciate you sharing that. Let's get some questions going. Let's see if anybody has some questions for Manny about what he's doing. If there's any clarification that you guys need, let us know and we'll clarify more. Yeah. So the giveaway will go live after we get 50 likes. We have quite a few people viewing right now between Twitter and YouTube. So we have enough people. We just need people to click that button. It only takes a second. Let's see here. What else we got? Who's got some questions? Come on, questions for Manny. Did he explain everything so well that you guys have zero questions? Just no questions because Manny killed it. That's what it is. All right.
It's also very similar to like how Rebecca trades as well. I bet she's more of a bear. But I mean, she basically,
she's an ultra bear. Don't say she's more of a bear. She literally only takes short trades, which is fine. Yeah. But that's tough in an environment like this where we've been kind of just going up, right?
Yeah.
With all the craziness. So, 54 likes. Look at that, guys. Are you a biased trader in the sense that Do you only take longs, or do you only take shorts, or do you care?
I honestly, the short answer, I don't care. I just want to be in alignment with the current trend. Like I don't like fighting the trend. I know there's some people who love like, counter trend trading, but it just gives me too much anxiety, man. Like my psychology is not strong enough for that.
I've been run over way too many times trying to think, oh yeah, it's the top guys, it's the top, or it's the bottom guys, and you're like, run over, run over, run over again. And then finally you'll catch it and you're like, well, I already got run over so many times that this trade, like, I barely am break even now. And it's because you're trying to counter trend, even though you look back and you're like, man, I could have caught that, pull back. I could have caught this one. Like, what am I thinking? But it's trading, man. You get sucked into that. It's good though, because it kind of sounds like you let the market tell you what you should take. And, if the market context is it's bullish, then look for long setups. If it's bearish, then look for bear setups. I'm very similar in the nature where what I'll do is, I'll have a hypo for both. Like if it does this, then I'll get a long. If it does this, then, I'll catch a short, and the market will tell me where it's going to go. If it doesn't give me either, then it doesn't. It is what it is. That's the best way to approach it. So you don't get biases. And then sometimes with biases, you get yourself in trouble.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right, Manny, I think this is for you.
Sometimes you can inspire yourself a profitable trader, but you cannot copy it because you cannot copy the personality. Yeah, that's true. That's like a perfect example of that is, again, like Rebecca, like she loves the shorts, and I know our two, like in our coaching community, we have two coaches, like Austin and Evan. They trade very differently. Austin is more of an aggressive guy. Evan is more of like, he's very patient. So sometimes he's not even taking his first trade until like after 11 o'clock, and it's very interesting just seeing those different types of like personalities in trading. For me personally, I'm definitely more of I'd rather be patient, although I definitely could be more aggressive. Like I can see both sides, but I know like for my mental capital, it's far better for me to just be patient and take a less aggressive setup, because it's just a lot less brain energy, and long term I'm not going to get burnt out by being a little bit more passive.
And you guys think this is funny? It's not. This is a real thing. There is such a thing as like discipline capital, like how much discipline you actually have as a trader. It deteriorates over the day, right? As you get tired, you're going to make more and more mistakes. It's going to make you more emotional. And then also with aggression and taking trades, it's a scale. So you have to realize, like, look, you can be an aggressive trader, but it doesn't fit your psychology. You're going to run into so many hurdles. It's just going to eat you up. So it may not even be worth it for you as a trader. You may actually, because being so aggressive, you may end up actually being a worse trader. And it's something I see through our data all the time. Like guys that get more aggressive generally end up, either one, turning commissions, like just trading way too much and not really getting anywhere. And then you see on their other days where they just take one or two trades and they're just done. Either it's a winner or loser, and then they're just done. Those guys make a lot more money versus the aggression. So aggression can pay off with some traders, but other traders, you got to find your happy place, right? And it sounds like Manny's found his spot. And just once you find your spot, get comfortable in it. Know that you do have like diminishing returns on your ability to think and analyze and stuff, and just find your sweet spot and stay there.
Yeah. How do I create that waiting muscle? By getting burned a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, dude, like failing combines, losing funded accounts is not a good feeling, especially when you have, when you set expectations for yourself, it's just not a good feeling, like those. But like you need to go through that as a beginner trader. So like one thing I would say, because I'm speaking, like I'm still a beginner, guys. Like I've only been trading for like 2 years coming up in August. I'm still in April, that's when I finally crossed that barrier of like, wow, I'm able to get through combines consistently, no problem, right? Now I'm at the point where I have to like kind of like break that psychological wall that I put to myself and really trust myself to follow my trading system. So that way now I can like get a couple payouts and really put some money in my pocket from this. But the only way to build that muscle, again, is being patient and waiting, is that you just need to get burned. I mean, there's no shortcut to it. You can watch other traders and copy what they do, but as long as that thought is in your mind of, oh, the grass may be greener on the other side, you're never going to fully like trust what you learn from more experienced traders, because it's like some people, they just learn harder than others, and I'm one of those people, to be honest. I needed to get hit a couple times in order to really, just actually wait and
yeah, and it's different for everyone, right? The issue with losing sometimes, or doing things that you're not supposed to do in trading, sometimes the market comes and rewards you for those actions, right? So it makes it learning that situation even harder, because sometimes you may average in and then you save the account and you're like, oh my gosh, I could do that. And then the 3 other times it doesn't work and you burn yourself, but then you still remember and you rely on that like bias that you have, like, no, sometimes I can save myself, this works out. But in reality, the bigger picture is it doesn't work. And as he said, like, you just got to get burned so many times that you're like, dude, I feel disgusted with myself, I just got to stop. And I think you're actually, for only 2 years in, you're definitely, and I think this might have to do with your mentorship that you entered, but you're a lot further ahead than most traders at 2 years that I meet. That's a huge thing, to have an understanding like you do, where you're understanding those things, and like, it takes time to learn, and don't expect perfection. I always think, like, if we were able to develop something that every time you did something bad in trading, like, we would shock you or something, we could probably get people to learn a lot quicker. Or a little bit of pepper spray in the face, or like burn your hand, I don't know, something, because that would get you feedback real quick. Because sometimes, like, you can lose an account, you'll be mad, but then you'll go reset it, and it's like, oh, no big deal, it's reset. And it's like the pain doesn't reside long enough. Or if you got shocked or something, you're like, I'm not doing that ever again. You tell yourself you're not going to do stuff, and you do it in trading again. You're like, oh, I'll never do that again. And then a week later, you're like, oh man, I did it again.
Definitely. I think one counter to that, though, is like, if you can like set a maximum amount that you want to spend on, like, let's say resets, like, definitely do that. Because I was never the type of person to like buy like 10 combine accounts when I've never even gotten a payout. It's like, well, let me get a couple payouts before I consider maybe even like copy trading anything, but I mean, just try to put some barriers in front of you, because I mean, obviously when you're emotional, man, I mean, people do not think logically, and you may do things that you may look back on and be like, okay, well, dang, why did I do that?
Yeah, you might also have a little bit different perspective, and your ability might be a bit better, being that you were a coach at one point. So you kind of, you're used to coaching people, so it might be easier to coach yourself and understand, like, why am I doing this? How can I actually put some type of plan in action to prohibit me from doing this? Why is it bad that I do this? So that's awesome. I think it's definitely carried over. You're pretty far ahead for just 2 years of trading. Yeah, another one for you, I think. I don't.
NQ price depends on top 6 stocks like Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Alphabet, Meta, Tesla. They're weighted above 20% on NASDAQ 100. So do you consider this as a variable to decide the price of NQ? Well, I don't trade NQ. I strictly only trade ES right now. I may consider trading NQ once I'm actually, have more experience and everything. But yeah, I mean, you obviously want to know, like, in my opinion, like, again, you probably have more experience in this or more knowledge in this, Brian, but it may be something to consider. You obviously want to know what stock's doing. Even now, like, I occasionally check up on, like, oh, how did Nvidia open up, or what are stocks looking like. But I don't use it as a way to kind of like sway me to take a trade, or to prevent me taking a trade, if that makes sense. I'm kind of just like trading what I see with the current ticker that I'm trading that's in front of me. So if I see a setup on NQ, right, I'm an NQ trader. Personally, I just think it may be too much noise depending on where you're at in your journey. I just prefer to keep things like as simple as possible, because I feel like the price action that I'm seeing now is pretty much what I need, and it's going to allow me to repeat these setups. Obviously, like, as you trade, as you get a few more years under your belt and you notice when certain events occur in like these different stocks, maybe you can have that discretion and that knowledge and experience to then allow it to sway your decisions. But as of right now, no, I honestly don't. It doesn't depend.
Yeah, in my experience, sometimes there's leaders and followers and stuff like that, but stocks and using them as some type of decision or confluence for your main setup, when you basically inject yet another level of something you have to analyze, sometimes you're going to get analysis paralysis, and you don't want that. Like, it's funny. It's like people are like hunting for this magic thing so they never lose. But it's like, dude, I've met so many people with great strategies and they're stupid simple. And it's like, they don't have to be hard. It could be, when I'm at the Bollinger Bands and I'm at this point and I see this signal of order flow, I get short or long, and that's it. That's their entire strategy. It's a 2-hour strategy, and it's like 50-something% win rate. It's like, you don't need anything else. Like, that is 100% a playable, plausible strategy. You don't need to mess around with anything else. So don't try to overcomplicate or guess what the market's going to do or look for too many confluences. Just find something that makes sense to you as a trader. And that's kind of part of the exploration of, I'm a new trader. I want to try everything. I want to try every strategy. And then what you'll find is you're going to find little nuggets that you like from each strategy you try, and you'll see your own edges and your own use cases for it. And after time, you're going to find out that works really well for you. And as long as it's the hold times, line up with your psychology, the leverage, the risk you're taking, all those things matter in the grander scheme of things. And then there are 2 different styles of trading too, where a lot of people will trade very, very aggressively through an assessment, and they'll carry that aggression over into the brokerage, and it doesn't work in the brokerage. Like, you don't have an opportunity to reset the brokerage. Like, that's your capital. You got to preserve your capital, and you have to adjust your risk per day down from like 40%. A lot of people risk 40% of their account one day, down to more something like 10%, because you're giving yourself more runway and less volatility in your P&L curve, right? That's why when we're looking at people to skip them, we're always looking at, well, how do they handle the risk? How many days were they giving themselves? And those are all really important things to think about when finding your strategy. Is try to get as small as you can, but still make money, because you want to weather the bad times as well as make money in the good times. Yes. I think Josh will start developing that. We'll send out TFD electric collars. They will be remote controlled. You're going to have to sign some waivers and some forms that say we're not responsible if it just randomly goes off. Speaking of which, my dog is barking and he has a collar, so he may get shocked right now. Giveaway last minute. Yeah, we're going to do the giveaway. Let's see. Any other question? Let's go ahead and do the giveaway now. Raj, could you jump on real quick? I got to check my door. I'm sorry, guys.
I guess we're going to do the giveaway in 1 minute. So if you haven't entered, do it now. Do you have any trades that you're eyeing right now or no?
Yeah, I'm waiting for a pullback down to the New York, these 2 VWAPs right here, which is the New York and start a future session VWAP. I want to see buyers defend this area. Like I said, it's not necessarily, they need to defend it perfectly. I just need to see buyers step in around that area, whether if it's like here or even it dips a little bit below down here. I just need to see buyers defend it. And then that's going to drag this high anchored VWAP down. As soon as we get that break, then I can go ahead and take that trade. And so basically I'll just be kind of looking for something like this. Stop down at that recent pivot that it makes at that VWAP, and just try to take that 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio.
Sounds good.
Yeah, pretty
All right, I'm back. Did we do this spin, Will? And did Manny get to butcher some names?
No, we're waiting for you.
Gets to butcher some names. Waiting for me. All right. Here we go. We're spinning.
Congratulations, Ferdy.
Congrats. We will email you if you have one before. We're going to give it to somebody else, so please Do not enter again if you've already won recently. That's a 90-day cool off.
Jose Almaraz. Sorry if you guys said your last name wrong. But congrats, Jose.
Congrats. All right. So if we get 100 likes, we will do 2 more giveaways. We'll see if we can get up there. We got some time left. Come on, guys. Lots of people watching. Cool. So I caught a little bit of that last little bit about your entry criteria. So what do you mean by if buyers get involved? Are you looking at order flow, or what is it? What's your signal for, hey, buyers are stepping in? Is it a candle thing? Is it an order flow signal? What is it?
So it's just some sideways movement. Just kind of like some confirmation that buyers are defending this area. So I just want to see kind of us sellers to slow down. So a good indication that I've noticed just through forward testing, but mainly back testing, is that like whenever we do get these levels, I kind of like to see sellers kind of like slow down and buyers start to step in, and then eventually we start to kind of like move higher a little bit. But I definitely kind of want to see a little bit of like sideways price action, or some type of signal for buyers to kind of like show me that, hey, we're stepping in. And then a good confirmation of that is if we have the strength to hold that breakout of the high of the anchored VWAP, then I'd enter the trade. Sometimes, I guess a perfect example is honestly in the open. We had a nice high of day anchored VWAP set up right here. And it seemed like buyers wanted to break out as we had a nice breakout candle right here. But the following candle after that, I mean, it just quickly was retraced. So, you know, just because it breaks out, it doesn't mean I'm jumping in like immediately. I definitely want to see how like the follow through is. I need to see some follow through after that breakout. But yeah, I'm just waiting for the pullback to finish and for us to kind of make that higher low and then start to move higher, because I'd like to ride that momentum. I don't like to pick the bottom. I want to, you know, be in.
So on the anchored VWAP, for instance, you anchored off the high there, where you had that first kind of like fake out where it looks like it wants to go higher, then you get a big retracement. Right. Question for you.
Yeah.
Do you wait a specific amount of time before you start trusting that anchored VWAP, or do you prefer that, you know, the first touch is kind of an area you start looking at, or is it really like you want a little bit of time to establish the VWAP?
So what I'll mainly look for, it really depends on like our trade location, right? So like, for example, like here, we are very high up. I mean, we just made all-time highs overnight, right? If you look at the bigger picture, we just made a higher high. So in these situations, I'll be a bit more cautious, and I'll definitely wait for either this candle's high, the candle that broke its high, to be taken out. And then once it's taken out, then I'd kind of get in. Or if, let's say, we just made a higher low and this trade setup presents and we're at a really good location, so where it's like, okay, we're not buying at the recent higher high that was just made, then I'll kind of be a bit more aggressive. I'll try to get in as soon as like this candle closure happens. But it mainly depends on like where we are on the charts. And honestly, like it just really depends on like, did we break, because this is the 2-minute chart. I want to see, okay, did we break this within the first 30 seconds of the 2-minute candle, or was it a struggle? Like, did sellers really step in last minute? It just really depends on like how the breakout candle was kind of like formed. But again, I try not to overcomplicate it, and I try to just keep it as simple as possible. But sometimes, you know, that hesitation does creep in. And, you know, sometimes I may miss the opportunity because this following candle will just rip higher. Or sometimes, you know, this following candle may just not have the strongest follow through, but we're still like holding above it, and we'll have like 2 more candles print. And as long as I see that, then I'll go ahead and click the buy button. I just kind of want to see how it interacts with this level.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So advice for new traders. What is your advice?
My number one piece of advice is to figure out a strategy that you like and that you see that works for someone else. And I'm not just talking about just like watching a YouTube video, like watch them trade live for, you know, a couple of months. And then if you like that strategy, then backtest as much as you can, because it's really good to train your eye in order to like recognize these patterns, because it's really hard to sit through a live market, because you have your emotions going crazy, you have the hopes and dreams and everything. So I'm definitely a huge I encourage a lot of people to backtest, because it's gonna train your brain to recognize these patterns, but you're also gonna have the data to see that, hey, like this is actually profitable. So when you're actually trading live, you don't second guess yourself, or you don't have that fear. I mean, it'll obviously still creep in, right? But it'll be a lot better compared to you never backtesting.
Oh yeah, it gives you so much extra conviction.
Oh,
So
yeah.
with backtesting, can you share how you backtest stuff? Are you doing like a manual approach? Will you just go back, a couple months and then kind of look for those particular setups? Is that how you're backtesting?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I take advantage of the replay mode here on TradingView. It's a
Okay.
combination of both. It's a combination with TradeZilla and TradingView. I manually backtest because I want to see these patterns myself with my own eyes. So I'll literally just do the replay mode on TradingView. I'll mark up the trade. Then I'll go into TradeZilla, fast forward it to the time, because they have an internal backtesting software in TradeZilla that you can use. I'll fast forward it to the time I took that trade, and I'll just document it on TradeZilla's backtesting system. So that way it gives me like data. Okay, like how long was I in this trade for? What was my like risk multiplier and everything, and I can also like assign tags to it. So that way I know, okay, do these hive-day VWAP breakouts work best when we're bouncing off of the New York VWAP or the daily VWAP or both? And it's just stuff like that. But I do manually backtest.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's awesome. A lot of people, they always say, "Oh yeah, make sure you backtest," and nobody knows like what do you mean by backtest? Like, do you have like a system that does it for you? No, it's most people are just manually backtesting. Right. I use Sierra charts. The nice thing about Sierra charts, when you do the tick by tick, it's basically live market. Like there is no real difference. Order flows are the same. So any order flow signals that you're looking to see if they have an edge, when you're backtesting, you can do live. Basically, you can find the days. I kind of have a process where the first process is, okay, does this work? Does it seem like this pattern's working, right? And I'll go back and I'll do a quick run through of it visually, just be like, okay, yeah, set up here, set up here, set up here, set up here. And then I'll actually go back and backtest in fast forward mode and actually take the trades live, because backtesting and forward testing is necessary, because sometimes you'll have a backtesting system, but when you go to forward test it, you can't get into the trade. Like you're not identifying it early enough. So you can't actually take the trade. The other thing good with Sierra chart is you can actually take the data and upload it just like you would upload any other trading data into any of the like TradeZilla, our system or whatever, right? I don't know if that's actually active yet or not, but anyways, you could upload the data. And when you get that, you can then analyze the data to be like, okay, is this worth looking into further, right? And if you find that, hey, yeah, if I look at the max favorable excursion, I can actually get maybe 4 out of this 4 hour out of this trade instead of the 3. I can actually tighten up my stop because my max adverse excursion is, let's say it's based on ATR, like 1 ATR away or whatever, right? So you're looking at those metrics and then you can tune it. But Sierra Chart's a great platform. I think TradingView is also a great way to do it too. However you can do it and collect the data is the most important thing to collect, because with the data, as Manny said, you get conviction. And with conviction, you stay on your plan a lot easier. It just makes it a million times easier, because like, no, it's okay. This one's a loser, but I know my winner's right around the corner. Or you're in a winning trade and you're like, I know it usually gets to here. My backtesting results tell me that. So then you don't cut out the trade too early because you're scared it's not going to go where it needs to go. So great way to backtest. Appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, TradeAvate also has a great tick by tick replay mode. Yeah, I haven't used the TradeAvate tick by tick. So that is another option somebody's recommending. What else do we got? I think this is a question for you, Manny. What do we got?
Oh yeah, Jose. What's going on, Jose? So you're waiting on the anchored high day break, or waiting for the New York anchor to be hit? It's kind of like we actually know Jose. He trades very, very similar to me. I'm waiting for the New York to be engaged first, just so I know that it is, support. Because I mean, Jose, you even know this, a lot of times, like we can get this break now, like we're getting right now. It looks like a price wants to break out of this high of day, but it's going to be a failed breakout. It's kind of like, I look at it as like a trap, and then it'll quickly retrace. And then in reality, a lot of times price likes to make these higher lows, kind of like actually touching these two levels. And then once we kind of get that engagement and then buyers step in, then after I normally like to look for the high day breakout. But I know for you, Jose, I know that you are the type of person to work your position. So I'm guessing you're kind of looking for something maybe with a bit of a wider stop. And then as you get more structure, you may tighten your stop a bit and add into the position. But like, it's kind of like we talked about this morning, Jose, is like, I just much rather wait for structure to kind of like tell me to get in, because again, I want to reserve my mental capital. It's just too much working the position right now. Maybe later down the road, once I'm actually considered to be profitable, I'm making money, I have that confidence, like, hey, I'm a successful trader. Let me try to sharpen my edge a little bit. Then I'll consider that. But as of right now, my goal is just to keep it as simple as possible. Wait for that interaction with the VWAPs, for it to really tell me that, hey, buyers are holding above these levels. And then after we get that interaction, then I'll go ahead and take the breakout. But I mean, again, this can work. I mean, a lot of times we do see it work. It's just, again, it's not the best for my mental capital. Yeah, but again, like if we see this, depending on how this candle closes, I mean, you can consider this candle right here. My black candles are the bullish candles and red candles are the bearish candles. But
I'm surprised you left red. A lot of people change that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just the mental thing, behind it. You're like, red bad, and then green good, but at least you changed out the green candles for black. It's a little bit more pleasing.
I used to have both as like black, but
I kind of gets confusing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What's your hypo for this then? What's your hypo? Run it down. So our hypothetical is, so you're thinking maybe it's going to reject here and then do what?
And then I think it's going to, so we had a false breakout here. I think it's going to pull back down to the New York and start a future sessions VWAP. We're going to see some buyers down here. It may dip further below it. Who knows? But I just want to see buyers step in around this area. And again, that's having that sideways price action. Then once we start to move higher, then I really want to see price break out of this line right here. Once we actually do get that breakout, let me just to keep it simple, let me paint that purple for you guys. And then once we actually do get that breakout, I'll then enter the trade here. And so it's going to look something like this. And again, that's after price, we get that actual interaction with these two levels down here. I'll consider the high day breakout. Even if we don't quite make it there, I want to allow it to get as close as possible. This to me is just not close enough. I needed to kind of get like, down here or some type of engagement, like a few ticks away or even an actual touch. I prefer that. And again, I've discovered that just through backtesting.
And then as far as stats, can you offer any guidance on like kind of where the hit rate is on this? And is it a 1-to-1? I know you mentioned earlier 1-to-1, but it doesn't look like this is a 1-to-1. It might be closer to like 1 to 1.5 ish, or is it a little bit tighter than that?
Yeah. So like I'll go for like I'll risk, like let's say per trade I'll risk like $200. I'm looking to make $200.
Okay, so it's still a 1-to-1. Got it.
Ratio, yeah. And as for stats, I can actually show you like some of my stats with like some accounts that I have. Like this is like with TS for the last month, 69% win rate. And again, this is me taking those trades, which, like I said, guys, like this is like things in the last 2 months have really clicked. Because even if I just like go back to like my previous calendar, I mean, in May it did not look this good. Even in April, I mean, well, I just got this from the account in April, but again, it did not look that good in May. And even if we go through my trade sell stats, it did not look this great. So I'm finding what has clicked and I'm just sticking with it. And for the last month, it's been going great. I mean, even with this other firm that I have, with one account, I have a 72% win rate and then a 71% win rate, far better than what I used to do in the past. I consider these to be a lot higher than what they used to be. And then also do my TradeZilla back testing. I can pull up those stats as well. With the large back test that I have, here, let me bring that into the screen. Here I have, this one has 117 trades back tested. This is like the long-term back testing. So I went like all the way back to like 2021. And with 117 trades, I have a 64% win rate. And I think it's a little lower just because, again, the market environments were a lot different. And so just kind of trying to figure out how to trade a different market environment because I'm not used to those types of environments. But I mean, still, it's still profitable. Going for a 1-to-1, I mean, you're making money with a 64% win rate. If you're risking, $200 just to make $200, that's kind of like what I'm looking for.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think somebody said something about competing platforms. Hey man, if it's a good company and you can find an edge and it makes sense for you, we don't care where people make money. We just want to help the people that are struggling and really get them to focus on the data, because being data driven really helps get rid of a lot of the randomness that you're going to see in your trading. It really does. And we want what's best for the trader. And as a company, I think that's pretty clear based on our reviews and how we interact with our traders. It's like, we don't put shade on other companies. There's no point. We just keep doing what we're doing and we do the best job we can. And we really, try to do what we say, right? We preach it and we live it and we care about our traders. And you can see that through, the different things we do as a firm, for traders. So we don't care. You trade wherever you want. You find an edge, go trade it somewhere. Make the money, because that's what everybody's in the game for, is to make money, right? We just have a different path for that than other firms. Any extra giveaways? I don't know. Where are we at on the likes? Where are we at, Raj? We got plenty of viewers, at least between both platforms. I just don't know if everybody's clicked that like button. Raji? And I don't know if he's around. Can anybody tell us? 94. Oh my gosh, we're so close.
Just
six more, guys. 6 more. There's enough people watching that they could just switch to YouTube real quick and click the like, and we could do 2 more. 2 more giveaways and get some people some accounts. Come on, boys. Come on, girls. Come on, traders. Let's make it happen.
Just anytime to answer, the VO1, you're concerned about that. So I just started trading with the futures desk. I don't really have too crazy stats so far. I mean, it's a 54% win rate right now. But given the trades that I have been taking on this account are a bit more on, like, for example, like today, this morning, I took an aggressive long. I'm not oversizing. It's just the being selective on my trades. I have been a little bit less selective. But I mean, these are my stats with the futures desk. I haven't taken too many trades. I just got this account, I think, can you remember, like maybe like 2 weeks ago or something like that. But yeah, I haven't been trading with the futures desk for too long compared to like other firms.
Yeah,
that's why
I think most viewers will realize, like, we're not just sitting here trying to tell everybody to go buy futures desk accounts. We're just trying to talk to traders and whoever's watching the show. We want to give them value, and that's why we dig into, like, what are you actually doing? How are you doing it? We're not just like fluffing and showing you big old P&Ls to get you all excited to buy a bunch of stuff from us. It's like, no. We want to actually add value for people. Like, that's why we talk to traders that actually know what they're doing and have a clear path. They manage risk well, because we're looking for long-term traders. We're not looking for those flashes in the pan type of traders that, like, they make 100K in a week and it's like, okay, cool. Well, you just lost that 100K the next week. What do you have to show for it? And it's not. Their risk of ruin is just too high. So it's not all about, trying to get people to buy accounts with us. It's more like, how do we add value for traders? And, naturally people are going to see us as a good place to go in the future if they want a long-term partnership. That's what we're trying to do. All right, let's spin. Manny can butcher some more names for us.
Yes, sir. Okay. Mario Calderon. Congratulations, Mario. Oh, nice. Jackie passed your assessment. Nice.
T. Oh, that's easy. See, I had to jump in there. I had to be like, oh, I can do that one. All right, hold on. Congrats. Amazing. I am excited for you. We actually had with you, I think now, Jackie, probably had like 10 people pass in the last few days. I know we put out something about 7, but I think it's closer to 10. So, people managing risk, they're following what they should be doing. And for us, it's all uphill for us in the sense, downhill after they pass, because now they're in a brokerage and we're aligned as a group, right? We want you to be successful, making that next step into the brokerage. And we meet with all of our traders. So once you get through and get to the funded stage, you'll meet with me or one of our other risk managers. And the point is, like, let's think about long-term success. We're not in it for the short term. You got to kind of adjust the way you trade from the assessment into the brokerage, because we want you to actually make it, right? Some of these other firms don't care, and that's on them. They have a different model than us, but we need and want people to be successful in the brokerage, and that's where money can be made. And then you don't have issues getting payouts, because it's like, yeah, cool, you made 10K. And we've had that happen, this week or last week, where somebody made a bunch of money and we're like, yeah, all right, cool. We just took it out of your brokerage and put it into the thing, and now you can get paid because it gets paid out of the brokerage. You made that money in the market, and that's where there's no issues at all. So, that's how we're a little bit different. Yep, it is amazing, super cool. Congrats to all the other winners that we just did. Manny, what do you got closing? What do you got? You got any wisdom, advice, anything else you can think of that we haven't talked about that adds value for traders?
Definitely. I just want to re-highlight what, honestly, you just mentioned. Guys, think with the firm that, is good for your longevity. There's a lot of firms out here that encourage people to gamify the trading system and spending a bunch of money on evals. My funded accounts, I've had them for a long time. I've had one with one firm for like a good
you can
2
say
months,
the names.
the other one 3 months.
You're good. You can say
okay,
the names.
Yeah, I've had my Top Step account for since I think I got it in like May. And I've had my Top One accounts since April, guys. Like, there's a lot of people who would literally just burn and churn those accounts. They're running through funded accounts within a week. And that's just not my goal, because I'm, like I said, I cap myself on how much I could spend. So at first I got a combine, passed it, got another combine, passed it, just to give myself that confidence. And I would really focus on a beginner, not so much as like, oh, let me see how much I can get out of the market. Build that confidence first. And again, backtest, journal your trades. I mean, if you aren't journaling, then you're not going to get better. I'm sorry, it's just the truth.
You're not doing the homework. That's like expecting some type of outcome, and you're not putting in the work. The work is the journaling. The work is the backtesting. And without doing those things, you might as well just go to a casino, because you probably have better odds at that point.
Exactly.
Like, that's the reality of it. If you're serious about this, get serious about journaling and analytics and data, because with that, you're going to find, dude, there are phenomenal edges in the market that if you as a trader can adhere to your rules and your plan and manage risk appropriately, the sky's the limit. It's crazy. The market is there. It's ripe for the taking. Just do it in a very safe and methodical way, like Manny's done. And that's why he's so far, in 2 years' time, he's a lot further than most traders will be, because he's approached it in a very professional way. And that's what you got to do. You got to be professional. Shout out to Manny. Here's his website, YouTube thing. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Good info. Are you sharing trades on here? Is that what you're doing? Are you live trading and kind of sharing stuff with people?
Yes, sir. Awesome. I trade live as much as I can. Like, if I'm on, your stream or a buddy's stream, I won't trade live. But for the majority of the point, like, I trade live, and then you're going to see every single one of my trades in my videos. I go over my journals. My main thing is just to be transparent. Like, I'm honest with people. I've never gotten a payout before. That's what I'm working towards now. Like I said, the last 2 months, things have been clicking, but they've only clicked because I've been backtesting and journaling and learning from my mistakes. And also, not spending like $1,000 or like $5,000 on like, evals, trying to, make some quick money. But but thank you for having me on, Brian. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, I love what you guys are doing.
Of course, we love talking to traders. We love getting different perspectives, because look, trading is so personal. One strategy that, works for you may not work for another trader. My strategy is not going to necessarily work for you. There's so many strategies out there. We just want to share more and more info. The more info we can get out there, that's good information. And as long as your vision and your values line up with ours, which, like, you're teaching the right stuff. Hey, risk management, think about it. It's a business, journal, do the backtesting, do the work. That's the message we're trying to convey to people. Is like, that's how you find the success. And kind of going back to what you're talking about, right? There's different stages of kind of progress as a trader. Your first stage is you lose everything, you lose all your money. And if you can control that point of your trading career, and this is your learning stage, and then you get to the next one where you're like, I lose money, but I make money, and I'm basically break even. And once you're break even, you're good. And you just got to get that next little thing, and you just tune stuff, and that's where you start making money. And then you make a little bit more money, and then you scale it up a little bit reasonably, and then you scale it up a little bit more. And before you know it, you're like, hey, I'm no longer a break-even trader. I'm profitable, and I'm controlling, what I'm doing. And that's where the market gives you plenty of opportunity. It's got plenty of liquidity right now and opportunity with volatility to really scale. But you got to do it in a way that's safe and reasonable and not like gambling, right? If you gamble and just buy a bunch of assessments, you'll get through assessment, but you're probably not going to get a payout, or you'll get one payout, but you've spent 30K to get one payout, kind of thing. Like, don't do that. Please slow down, guys. So cool. What else we got?
Do I have Discord? No, I don't have Discord. I have like an exclusive Discord with like literally 2 other people, to where we just like keep each other accountable. But no, I don't want to. I'm not a coach. I don't really see the point of me having a Discord.
Got it. Okay, so you're not trying to sell anything, which is nice.
No.
Yeah, we generally don't bring people on that are trying to like just sell stuff. They're not offering some type of value. We don't like to bring people on. We like to talk to normal traders. Like, we're not bringing on, some of these big guys making all this crazy money. It's like, yeah, but they're also risking a crazy amount of money. We want to bring in people that our customers relate to, like they're in the same position, right? And we want to show, people that work with our firm, like, this is how you get better. This is what you put in. This is what you need. And Manny's a really good example of what you need to do to get better and to find an edge and to start becoming profitable, slow and steady. What else we got? I think that's it, unless anybody else has any questions for Manny. Yeah, so it depends. Look, I suggest if you're going to buy an account with us, start smaller. You don't need to buy a big old account. Start small and kind of forward test and take the trades. Because look, once you get to the brokerage, we can scale you. We have a scaling plan in place. So if you start with a smaller account, like one lot, that's more than enough for most of these accounts. We recommend people trade with micros if possible, because it helps you to really control risk. And we can also always scale you. We love scaling traders. What helps them helps us, right? Our business model is to make money like a traditional prop firm. We're just like an online traditional prop firm, right? And that's where we want people to grow and get better in the brokerage, not playing the roulette wheel of, how many assessments can I pass? Am I going to blow it up kind of thing? We want people to slow down and treat it more like a brokerage. Yeah, we also have practice accounts, and I think the practice accounts are great for forward testing. To figure out, hey, do I actually have a strategy that makes money? Like, you can spend $20 and figure that out and not really expose yourself to a lot of risk. Like, there's no downside of that other than time, but you got all the time in the world, right? Trading's going to be here for years to come. I thought when I first started, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, what was it, 6 years ago? Oh shit, yeah, 6 years. 6 years ago, I was like, oh man, what if all this stuff just goes away and it the trades aren't going to be, no, it'll be here every day. And the one breakout trade you missed, or the mean reversion trade you missed, it's going to be there. It's still going to be there. It's not going anywhere. The market's going to be here. It's been here for hundreds of years now, and it's not going anywhere. It may change, and strategies may not work as well, but it's going to be here. So don't worry about that, guys. Slow down. Take your time and risk small if you can. Yep, 3 different options. Any other questions for Manny? Anything at all? think we'll go ahead and end it. It's right at that time. How's your trade going? Nope, hasn't.
Yeah, so I mean, it
Anything
hasn't
set up
came
yet.
down. Yeah, we haven't had that pullback that I like. Like I said, this could very much work. You know, this pop from the news could just be, you know, strong enough to where we don't fully get that pullback. But again, it's like what you just said. I can sit through this and miss it, and I'm totally fine.
And that's the good thing is like you stuck to your plan. You have a hypothetical that you want to see, and if it doesn't play out, then guess what? It's not a trade. You don't need to get all angry and fester about that trade that went without you, because guess what? It wasn't actually your trade. Your trade, you're waiting for something. If you let that play out, you know you had a 60% win rate, and that's the trade you want, right? And that's what you'll wait for. Oh, I guess Raj put up the discount code. Hey guys, we do have a 60% off. I'm pretty sure we're with 60%. And something that's different about us is like a lot of these other firms will have like super cheap, like, oh yeah, you can get an account for $20. And then you pass the account, and then the account, you still have consistency, and you got to pay an activation fee, right? Whatever that is. On top of that, and then your all-in cost is like $180 or $160 or whatever, right? Our all-in cost for a smaller account, I think, is like $60. I mean, it's pretty cheap, and there's no after, weird consistency. Once you pass your assessment, we actually remove the consistency, and then it's like literally you could pass that next stage in one day, and then you can take a payout, then you can go to the brokerage, you can take a partial payout and go to the brokerage. But it's a great deal if you look at the actual totality of everything. A lot of times people just look at the upfront cost, but it's actually a stellar deal. So anyways, 60%, it's cool. Valid until the end of the month. Yeah, July 31st at 11:59:59. Cool, guys. I don't want to ramble too much more. So thank you so much, Manny. Really appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks, everybody, tuning in. Catch you next time.
Thank you, guys.